achieved.
All right, welcome into Studio de Jeffrey de Quarantine, de COVID Chronicles. This is a test run, basically, for trying to go back to work today. I got to see how I hold up over, 8, 10, 12, however many minutes I'm talking here. So I did test positive for the Cove, and I'm on the mend. I think this is probably, 3 days ago was probably the worst day. 2 days ago wasn't a lot of fun. Yesterday. But the biggest symptom that I've been having is just fatigue, really. Like stand up and walk somewhere, and it's like, whew. So no, it hadn't been a ton of fun, but we're going to make it. We're going to make it and getting better. So basically, welcome to the trial run to see if I'm going to do radio today. I heard Mike McCarthy the other day. I got to start here. I like Mike McCarthy. I think overall, I'm encouraged by Mike McCarthy. Obviously, the Cowboys' record is terrible. They're just getting their butts kicked every week, but that happens when you don't have any good football players left because everybody got hurt, and you start a seventh-rounder out of James Madison without having time to prepare. Remember, if you were like, oh, he's supposed to be Tony Romo, remember, Romo had like 3.5 years to get ready for his first start. Ben DiNucci didn't think he was going to be playing football this year. And then it's like, all right, you got a week. Get ready. Go get him, Tiger. And so he looked lost. Shocker. Plus, that was good for Team Tank. So that's what we needed, was that sort of start out of DiNucci. But the one thing about Mike McCarthy that is driving me absolutely bonkers is the Terrence Steele thing. He let up 3 sacks and 7 pressures last week. You're about to play the Steelers. So TJ Watt and Bud Dupree are coming to town, and you're still pretending that's your best option. Like, is there something super secret going on where Zach Martin is like a terrible teammate and is telling people I'm not playing tackle, leave me alone? No, obviously not. But how is that still your plan? How is Terrence Steele still the plan? We've seen Connor McGovern play. We've seen him play guard. We've seen Zach Martin play tackle. Connor McGovern was okay. Zach Martin was good at right tackle. But instead, you're going to run out all-pro turnstile. What would you rather have? Okay and good, or really good and can't play? You have to take can't play off the field, especially considering this week you're going to be starting Cooper Rush or Garrett Gilbert. What's eating Garrett Gilbert grape? You can't do this, Mike. I'm a Mike McCarthy believer. Kellen Moore's done a good job this year. Mike McCarthy has done a good job this year in terms of coaching the offense, in terms of what their plan is, in terms of play design and play calling. I'm a believer in this offensive coaching staff. Stop trying to get quarterbacks killed, man. What are you doing? He called it fantasy football, moving people. Okay, well, were you asleep? Were you having a Mariah Carey fantasy when you moved Zach Martin because Steele was dehydrated when he had to be benched once? No, it's not fantasy football. And second of all, you really think we get points for Zach Martin playing tackle in fantasy football? Okay? That's not how fantasy football works. So anyway, that's my biggest thing with the Cowboys right now is you got to get Terrence Steele off the field. I love you, Red Raiders. I love you, Terrence Steele. It's not your fault. These guys are human. I don't mean to sound like I'm attacking the player, and I'm not. The player's not capable. If he develops into a player, great. But he's an undrafted free agent that shouldn't be out there, and you have options. Like maybe DiNucci shouldn't have been out there. You didn't really have options. You got options. Stop it, Mike. Stop it. All right, let's get to some of your mailbag stuff. AJ, all I want to know is, 1, how you feeling and doing health-wise, and 2, when are we going to see another video on the boys? Well, this is the video, and I'm doing okay. Feels like I have a severe cold. Chest congestion, regular congestion, fatigue, headache. Anything else that's bad? We'll be okay. We're bouncing back. Landon, I definitely think Connor McGovern played better than Terrence Steele. Has Phil been seeing the same thing? I don't know what they're seeing. That's what worries me. I have no idea what the coaching staff is seeing. Like, what are they watching? Jack said, quickly deleted, but Gil Brandt tweeted he's been impressed by Terrence Steele and that he was surprised he wasn't drafted. What? Yeah, like where did that come from, Gil? Was that from Jerry? Was that McCarthy? Because Gil had, I guess I was one of them, who retweeted it with like, what? I guess he saw enough that he was like, oh God, I must be wrong about this. Let me chill out on this one. Let me get rid of this. Hide the evidence. I don't know. I don't know what the coaching staff is seeing. Jeremy says, still think Cowboys won't re-sign Aldon Smith, ? If so, why didn't the front office trade him when they had the opportunity? That's a fair point. They may. And the price may be coming down. He hadn't had a sack in, 4 weeks? Something like that. And it appears now that he's banged up, and that may have been part of the reason, but I kind of thought Randy Gregory looked better in that game than Aldon Smith. So now it's gone. Is the pendulum swung so far where you go, okay, at first it's like, well, they're not going to be able to afford to re-sign him. The dude's going to have 12 sacks, and their money's tied up, and all these other players are not going to be able to afford him. And now the pendulum swings to, well, wait a minute. He is over the age of 30, and he hadn't been productive the last few weeks. What's he really got in the tank? And hopefully, much like Tank, he's just banged up. Or the fact he hadn't played in a half decade, now you're halfway into a football season, maybe catching up to him, and it's just something you got to build up to. But it does appear much more realistic now that Aldon Smith might be a Cowboy for 2 or 3 years. And it would make sense from this perspective. It's not a great draft year, I don't think, for the pass rushers. So if you feel like you've got a good player and you feel like you can be okay at defensive end with Tank Lawrence, Randy Gregory, and Aldon Smith, and if the price is right, it makes a lot of sense to not have that as a giant need when you go into the offseason so you can focus your resources on other things that you can improve. A lot of edge rushers aren't going to be good their rookie year, especially guys who are picked off traits, their athleticism, their ability to turn the corner. So Aldon Smith as a re-sign actually does make a lot of sense, where you can feel like you've got 3 guys there that can play the edge for you. And then you can go into the draft and be like, look, don't worry about that. We know that we will eventually have to worry about that, but don't worry about it right now. And let's worry about rebuilding the secondary. Let's worry about if we need to spend a pick on a linebacker. Let's worry about fortifying defensive tackle. There's a lot we got to do. If we don't have to worry about edge rush, great. So, yeah, Aldon Smith re-signing, it does make sense if the price is right, and that price might be coming down. James said, Jeff, what do you do if the Jets come calling with 2 or 3 first-round picks and some second to fourth-round picks over the next 2 years for Dak? Oh, here we go. Normally I'd be on the fence, but wouldn't you have to do it this year? Take advantage of what seems like a surefire top pick of your own with likely the number 1 pick and a pick wherever Seattle ends up? The quarterback thing is one that I'm done fighting about. Here's what happens if the Cowboys have a top 5 pick. If the Cowboys have a top 5 pick, they have to consider a lot of different things. One, how do we feel about the quarterback prospects? For me right now, if you had the number 1 pick, I pick Trevor Lawrence in a heartbeat because I think that he has a chance, and a decent chance, at least decent chance, to end up being a better quarterback than Dak. Now, that's saying a lot because Dak's already been very good and tons of quarterbacks bust. But I think he's that level of prospect. So if I have the opportunity to make that pick, I make that pick because I believe in the player. Secondary is the amount of money you save. Oh, congratulations. We're saving $30 million a year over the next 4 or 5 years. And I think I've replaced my quarterback with a guy who can be better. That's when you do it. Now, if you evaluate these quarterbacks and you're like, oh, maybe he can get kind of close to it, then stop right there. Don't do it. You're not here to downgrade a quarterback no matter how much money you're saving. It's never the point. Don't do it. If you have a really good quarterback, sign him. If you luck into, because your quarterback and your offensive line, all these different guys are hurt, if you luck into the opportunity to what you believe is upgrade at quarterback, then you take it. And you be thankful for the cap savings as well. And you go party. So that's what it comes down to, is how do you feel about the player you can pick when it comes to thinking about Dak? If you're really having trouble agreeing on a contract and you're like, we don't like what this does to our cap, and we don't, because you shouldn't care what it does to your cap. He's your quarterback. If he's great, doesn't matter. None of it matters. Pay him $50. It doesn't matter. Like, but I could get a nice starter at left guard, with the difference in this. It doesn't matter because your left guard is like 4% as important as your quarterback. Your quarterback's the only thing that matters. So if you think you are going to be picking a better quarterback, then go ahead. Fire it up. And I believe that about Lawrence. Through 2 weeks, I think I believe that about Justin Fields. I got to see Trey Lance. I got to watch the BYU kid. I am not in a hurry to move on from Dak. My preference is to sign Dak, cap and trade down, get a bunch of picks, pick a bunch of D tackles and corners and safeties and linebackers, and go try to win the Super Bowl with Dak. That would be my initial goal, especially if you have a top 5 pick. If I have the number 1 pick, it's no longer my plan. Number 2, we'll talk about it. We'll see. Mike Petty. Just saw you tested positive for COVID. Here's to a speedy recovery. Rest up, take lots of zinc, stay hydrated. All my best. I got the zinc, I got the vitamin C, I got the vitamin D. I got these 2 other words that I don't know what they are. I ran out of Pedialyte, but I'm okay. And I've been recording for 11 minutes, and I feel okay. I don't know if I have the same energy level that I normally do, but here I am. Felipe, love your direct, free, and out-of-the-box thinking on the show. Because of the jet lag and the time I spend on duty when I watch your vids, it's appetizer time here. So I'm on a Thai punch, cane sugar plus rum plus zest of lime. Who's the DB with an ending contract you'd consider re-signing at the right price in the offseason to cover your bases? What are your thoughts about Texas Sam Ehlinger and where he might end up? I thought Ehlinger coming into this year, if he played really, really well, had a chance to maybe even be like a day 2, second or third round draft pick. But I don't see it. I don't see it with the throwing ability. So he could be drafted. He's going to have a chance to be in somebody's camp, but I don't see it with him. And the DB I would consider re-signing at the right price tag, there's only 2 of them. It would either be Cheeto or Xavier Woods. If you're talking about $4 or $5 million a year, shoot, yeah, come on with it. If their market is more than that, then let them go and try to figure it out. Problem is they're going to have to replace so many guys in the secondary. So it'd be great if Cheeto was on the cheap because he's still your best corner. Like Trayvon Diggs had a nice game in terms of catching the balls that Carson Wentz was stupid and threw to him, but he's still – it's really funny watching people talk about Trayvon Diggs because the only thing I don't see is a lot of people acknowledging what's really happening. It's either like, he's awesome, man, look, his completion percentage allowed is really low, or man, he's toast, he sucks. When the reality is, completion percentage that he allows is low, especially for a rookie. It's really nice. But he's also allowing like 16 yards per completion and over 10 yards per attempt at him. So, yes, he is forcing incompletions. And, yes, he's getting burned. Welcome to rookie corner status. So, obviously, this week was a big positive for him, and hopefully he can build on that and keep getting better and better and become a really good corner. All right, leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow. Mash the thumbs up, hit the like. Definitely leave something in the comments for the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Need it. But let me know what you want to talk about tomorrow. And I'll be back tomorrow. And we'll do a vid. We'll do a vidya. I love you guys. Bye.